welcome back from the break.
Okay, so there are a few videos. I watched a bunch of videos, but there were some that really stood out on YouTube. There was a Cosplay is Never Consent con panel, and that was by Filthy Dinosaur. There's another Cosplay is Not Consent by Smoothie Cosplaya. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right.
I'm sure that our tech guy can put these names on text on our screen. That way we will make sure that the correct people get credit.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Marcus. I'm giving you more work.
Thank you. I'll be up till 5 a.m. next time editing.
Hey. And it was the smart dress tracked groping on a damage report. And that led me to something called Schweppes, Dress for Respect, Ogilvy, Brazil. I may be pronouncing that wrong, and I probably am.
I'll put it on the screen.
Yeah, that was interesting. And Harley, you brought this up to me about the dress where it senses when people are touching you and like where and how hard, like how much.
I feel like that was one of those random videos that I ran across on Facebook a couple years ago, but it stayed with me because of the subject matter, so I was able to track it down. It was an experiment done where a dress with, you've probably watched this more recently than me, but I think somewhere upwards of 200 sensors in each dress. They had multiple women go out in this dress for a few hours in a club, and every time they were touched or groped, it was recorded. And it was hundreds of times for each woman.
Yeah, I think each woman had an average of, if I remember correctly, it was 147 in like 3 hours.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a lot. And that's part of the reason, I mean, if I go out to a club, I'll go out to a goth industrial club because typically there, people are not going to touch you. They just don't.
Especially with you in like leather boots, just like looking ready to kick ass. I'm not talking leather heels. I mean like leather full-on boots, like
head stompers.
Yeah, head stompers. 2 inches of rubber padding on the bottom of the feet.
Yeah. So yeah, that was just. I mean, it just proved the point of men need to stop touching women without our permission.
And I will say, this is going to sound weird coming out, so just bear with me.
Okay.
Not entirely their fault, because it's not always a conscious thing. Men are, for the most part, socialized to think that that is okay. So as far as they're concerned, they're not necessarily doing anything wrong, even if they shouldn't do it. They have been socialized to think it's okay. A lot of men are socialized to think when you're saying, excuse me, and getting past a woman, you touch her on the small of her back or on her waist. It's something that has become so normal for them that it doesn't register as something they should have to think twice about. That's not making excuses. That's just saying that it shows that the shift that needs to happen isn't with outing malicious men. It's with changing how we socially program our young boys.
True. Yeah, I mean, well, it goes back to the whole idea of boys will be boys, and if a boy hits you, that's just because he likes you. And it's, no.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I was kind of a bitch because I have a form of autism. So I didn't understand social cues. I didn't really understand how to interact, especially when I was young. And I was told, if a boy's mean to you, he likes you. If a boy hits you, he likes you. So I'm like, okay, that's just what people do when they like each other. They're mean. So I was mean to a boy I liked, and I was immediately corrected.
Right, because women aren't supposed to be mean.
No, we're supposed to be nice and quiet.
Yeah, we're supposed to be polite and kind of timid and malleable and
It's changing. I'm very happy to see that changing, but it's not a fast change. We're crawling at this point. We're moving, but not very quickly.
Yeah, I was raised
at the turtle's pace.
right. I was raised the opposite way. My grandfather especially raised me. I mean, he knew he was going to pass away and wouldn't be there to keep me safe. So he raised me to, you know, handle myself and take care of myself when he was gone.
Mm-hmm. So was one of my friends. She's a Marine brat.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain women who are taught to not take shit. And I think that those women really become the alpha in their friend group, not because they're the more alpha personality always, but because they are the ones who will stand up and say, hey, fuck off. Hey, this isn't right. So their friends will go to them to be like, hey, I need your help with this problem.
Yeah, and I've noticed in different friend groups that I've had, with women, like I'll rub off on them. I'll be like, you don't have to take that.
Mm-hmm.
Or if a man's grabbing your arm, here's how you deflect that. Here's how you push that away. Like we're programmed to behave and to think that we can't defend ourselves, but women can very easily defend ourselves. We just have to know how to do it and have that self-confidence.
And you have to remember that, yes, women, no matter how much we say we can do anything men can do, biology here, they are stronger than us. So if you do something, you need to commit. No half-ass in this. You need to commit because you can do it, but it's going to take a lot more effort.
Sexual dimorphism is a bitch.
The thing that I would always was my biggest talking point when I would teach self-defense courses. You have 15 seconds of adrenaline tops. If you do not win your fight in that 15 seconds, you're fucked.
Yeah. I mean, how I was taught is try to keep it to 5 seconds. And because you're smaller and because your opponent's probably going to be bigger, you need to take them the fuck out. Like, quickly.
The rules were a bit different where I was teaching. There were laws that we had to make sure women didn't accidentally break. I teach, when I was doing PPCT instruction, I'd help teach, here are the pressure points in the leg or in the neck that will make it so their leg don't work or their body don't work for a few seconds, have 10 seconds. And even then will still be sore as hell. You need to hit those as hard and as fast as you can and then use every bit of adrenaline you have to run.
Yeah. And then too, a lot of women don't realize that you have kind of a bit of a surprise factor because most men don't expect a woman to fight back. So
look at the little girl. She'll be easy.
Yeah.
Women have nails. We will scratch the shit out of you.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was attacked by a guy in a club and he came at me from behind and my instincts just took over and I, took care of myself. But at the same time, like in the seconds after that happened, I'm going to prison for the rest of my life. And this sucks because some jackass had to come up and grab my genitals. But like women are capable of defending ourselves. I think in our culture, we're not taught that within us we have a warrior and this deep well of strength, right? And it depends on the person that you're up against though. I mean, if they're on like crack or something, they might not even notice if you punch them.
Yeah. There's definitely some things that will stop that, but general basis is knock them down, run like hell.
Yeah, it was just interesting to watch those videos, that smart dress though. It'd be interesting to see a woman in cosplay at a convention.
I'd happily do it. I'd put on my Harley. Harley is the one I get touched most in. Now it would have to be at a convention that I'm not known at because that's not going to happen at any of my normal Florida conventions now. But going back to a thought that I had when you said, men are taught to know that they're strong and to know that they're capable and women aren't. Any woman who's feeling like she can't take care of herself or she can't physically do it, I cried when I watched Wonder Woman. First scene where you see the Amazons training.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't, pretty girls. Like, the thing that, when I was on Tumblr, the thing that Tumblr just freaking exploded over was when Gal Gadot touched down as Wonder Woman doing the superhero landing. You could see her thigh jiggle on screen. That's not something you see. That's not something that Hollywood usually lets you see.
Right.
And just the fact, and it wasn't like fat. It was, you could tell it was muscle.
Right.
You could see her muscle move on screen. You saw the Amazons doing, full on, they're a warrior race. You saw them training, and you don't see women like that. And I think I'm actually going to watch that movie after we get done here.
It was so, like, it felt so good to see an island full of women who, were just fighting, and they weren't told, oh, well, women can't do this, women can't do that. They're getting...
They were told, hit harder, train harder, be faster. Right. They were told what you see a lot of the men being told in, like, the male power fantasy movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it was good to see that, because when I got into martial arts, my martial arts instructor wasn't going to take any, oh, that hurt or whatever, unless you were really injured, right?
Yeah.
But, like, it wasn't a segregated class of boys over here, girls over there. It was the boys and girls together. And if the boys misbehaved, they knew they misbehaved, and the girls were encouraged to fight just as hard, as we could.
Mm-hmm.
And I just respect that way of teaching little girls or young women how to fight, instead of, I don't know, basically just telling us to go knit or something.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, I might have to watch that movie again too, because that was a beauty.
I can give so many recommendations for things like that, because really, when it comes down to it, a lot of times consent isn't taken seriously, because with the extreme assholes, most people are not like this, the extreme assholes. Because the mindset is, what are you going to do? You're a girl. I can do several things. When I had to walk downtown Atlanta in the middle of the night because my plane was late, I had a 12-inch long tungsten knitting needle in my hand.
Hat pins. I want to invest in a bunch of hat pins and start wearing hats again.
Just seeing women fight, I think, really helps with the self-esteem, which will help with us being taken seriously. That's what it comes down to. Women aren't taken seriously. You want some good female characters? Avatar: The Last Airbender. The anime, not the movie. It is for those of you who are unfamiliar, I am judging you, but it is an American cartoon that is done in the Japanese anime style. First, you have Katara. She's a waterbender she's the only waterbender in her tribe. When she travels north to learn, she is told by the teacher, you're a girl, you're not good for anything but healing, I'm not going to teach you to fight. By the end of the series, she is one of the most experienced waterbenders there is, and takes down basically a dictator. There is a little 8-year-old earthbender girl. She's blind. Her name is Toph Beifong.
Love Toph.
She's treated... Oh, yes, Toph. You know what I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah.
She's treated... She's a merchant's daughter. Very high society. She's treated as poor little blind girl. She's in earthbending classes because she is a bender, but we always keep her at the most basic level. We keep her at the easy stuff so she doesn't hurt herself. Poor little blind girl.
She's a porcelain doll.
Thank you. That's the word. She is actually very well known in an underground fighting ring as the undefeated champion called the Blind Bandit. She literally will kick the shit out of anyone that comes near her, and as an 8-year-old takes out a ship full of firebenders because she figured out she can bend metal.
Oh, wow.
First person to ever bend metal in that universe.
Mm-hmm.
And she figured it out while stuck in a full metal cage because they thought she couldn't bend
Because
metal.
metal bending was
body
not
sense.
something that had been done, but because she's blind, her other senses are heightened. She can literally see with her feet and see with her hands.
Mm-hmm. And to extrapolate on that, in the second series, The Legend of Korra, when
Oh, I love
the
Korra.
Avatar like made his own city, and then it passed down to Korra, who's a female, a woman, a young woman who
She's the next Avatar.
She's the next Avatar. She was if you follow the cycle, she's a waterbender. She was born in the Southern Water Tribe. And at, I think whenever they met her, she was like 3 years old. She was already bending earth, bending fire, bending water. Like her introduction was as a 3-year-old, bust open a wall with earth bending, and then shoot fire and move water in front of the guys who are essentially scouting for the next Avatar.
Yeah, well, that's like, well, found it.
Yeah, yeah.
I was going to say
in the city,
Azula, too.
Yeah, Azula is a badass too. Azula being like just like
Questionable morals, but that's not the point I'm making.
Mm-hmm. She was essentially a protege to the best firebender in the original series. Who was fire.
Original series, she's Zuko's sister, his little sister. To put that in perspective, Zuko's probably about 15. Azula's probably about 13. So at the age of 13, she has command of a fleet of ships, is one of the only people who can lightning bend, and takes out entire armies by herself.
Yep. And she can kick her brother's ass, whom her brother has kicked the ass of another fleet commander.
Mm-hmm. No, you've got very powerful women in that series, and I like it because you watch Katara, all the issues people had with Elsa, how she's just magically good at magic, she doesn't practice. What you want is Katara. You watch her go from almost crying in the first season because she can't do it, she can't understand the scrolls, it doesn't make sense, to kicking the shit out of the Fire Lord at the end of the series.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that I like about anime, and I mean, there are things not to like, but you have a lot of powerful, like, women and girl characters. And it would be really cool if that would translate into cosplay, you know?
I've seen some amazing Azulas. I've seen some amazing female characters. The thing I don't see as much is the attitude to match.
And for the men and boys out there, do not be Meliodas from Seven Deadly Sins. Please don't do that.
It shows me that, women want to be like these characters, even though Azula is a murderous bitch. She is one of the most confident women in that show. Something you'd like. There is an earthbending island called the Island of Kyoshi, full of women who take after the Avatar Kyoshi, and they are some of the most advanced they're non-benders, right? I don't remember.
They're non-benders.
They're non-bender martial arts warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Entirely female.
Their style of martial arts is completely meant to negate primarily firebenders.
Because, you've got the Fire Nation basically decided, we want to take over everything. And they did that by building war machines powered by fire. So you have the Kyoshi warriors who are all non-benders and are all women who are not taken seriously, who pose one of the biggest threats to the Fire Nation because they figured out how to fight firebending, which is not something that most people can do. If you haven't seen this series, you need to watch it, guys.
Another powerful woman in the series. I hate myself because I forget her name. She's in The Legend of Korra. She winds up joining up with Korra and the other two people. Asami, yes, thank you, Asami. She is a brilliant, just out there, ready to get get stuff done woman, and she's an inventor. She took over her father's company whenever he got sent to jail from basically trying to get rid of vending. Took over his company and like rebuilt it and started repurposing it and coming up with just all these new kinds of inventions just from her own mind. She just took over a company,
We're
and
going off
she's
on a
around the
tangent
same
here.
age.
We're going off on a tangent here, but my point is the reason we're talking about this one specific show and this one specific movie is because that's really all women have, to my knowledge. You know, I can name multiple different actors that feed the male power fantasy. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, anything Arnold Schwarzenegger, Vin Diesel, and I'm just going to stop there because this is going to turn into a very long list.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not their fault. They're actors. They're portraying what men want to see.
Yeah, but when you have a woman, a strong woman playing Wonder Woman, and you see her thigh shake and whatever, and she's...
We don't get to see that. I legitimately was sitting there bawling.
Yeah.
My boyfriend like turned the movie off. He's like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" I'm like, "No, turn it back on. I'm crying because I like it."
And let's not forget.
Because she's strong, and they're all strong in their own selves without being attached to a man and having a man come in and somehow save the day when the woman is strong enough to do it herself.
And let's not forget that the woman who played Wonder Woman in the movie, yeah, she was pregnant during the recording process. She was in there with essentially.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was pregnant for it.
Yep.
They had her in a loose oh God, please help me.
Corset,
a loose corset, and they CGI'd to make her stomach look a little bit more thin. But she was, I'm sure she had stunt doubles, but for a lot of the scenes where she didn't need a stunt double, she was out there pregnant doing all of this and still delivered a healthy baby.
If I remember correctly, she did a lot of her own stunts and she was pregnant. I mean, that is badass. Like, having been pregnant, I can say, I was impressed when I heard that. I was like, damn, woman. Like,
I haven't been pregnant and I'm still impressed when I hear that.
I can't even imagine. Like, when I found it out, I was like, she needs a medal or something, maybe some water. I don't know. Like, she needs some awards and trophies for that.
And a cup of water.
Yeah.
Stay hydrated, folks.
That's pretty impressive. I don't know. But,
fun things about that movie. Queen Hippolyta. Or, you know, as most people of my generation and the generation before me know her, Princess Buttercup.
I know, right?
I know. Princess Buttercup from The Princess Bride.
That made me so happy.
And honestly, if you look at it, we are really Gen X. I'm very, very early Gen X. I don't like to consider myself Gen X. Really, the later part of my generation watched the movies that they grew up with, because we did grow up on our parents' movies, like, you know, Star Wars and things like that. Mm-hmm. We watched our princesses grow up to be generals. Leia didn't become a queen. She became General Organa.
Yep.
Princess Buttercup grew up to become Queen Hippolyta. But really, if you think about it, she's a general.
Yes, absolutely.
Warrior race, she gets the rank. And you're starting to see, like, even going back to Legend of Korra, Top's metal bending, the discovery of that created a whole new breakthrough in the world of law enforcement.
Yep. Spawned a whole new city built out of entirely metal, the first ever metal city as well.
And so you're seeing the shift happen. You're starting to get the empowered women.
Well, even in what the newest Avengers, wait a minute, not the Avengers, the newest movie with Harlequin in it.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, the newer one. Apparently they filmed it from like more of a heroic perspective instead of how they normally film women.
So that is because it was a female director. Yes, she still has the pigtails, but they're choppy and fun instead of framing her face and like great like pull on them lengths.
Right.
Right.
She has
The way they, huh?
yeah, no, she's still got the makeup, but it's her makeup instead of, choked on a dick and cried.
Right.
In the first movie, all the shots are centered, all the promo shots are centered on her chest.
Right,
Or
right.
Ray, they're all centered on her face.
Which is a huge difference. When you see the pictures and you look at them side by side, it does make a difference. We need more women directors doing action movies for women.
I mean, I've got my issues with those movies but none of them have anything to do with, well, some of them are the directing choices, but not about how the women were presented. It's more of a character thing for me.
Right.
But that's how it should be, You've got issues with how this character was presented, but it's because of source material, not because they made a character who has canon in comics ripped Lobo's head off, basically be the sex appeal of the movie.
Right.
And then too, I don't, like in the first one, and a lot of them, they portray the relationship between the Joker and Harley Quinn as being like this weird romantic thing. No, that's abuse.
So many issues with that.
Mm.
I agree that you do want to show the romantic side because that's what keeps Harley in it.
Right.
But you need to show that no bueno.
Yeah. He shot her out of a building, like through the glass, just then let her fall stories down into an alleyway.
Yep. Mad Love, origin story.
Yep.
3 stories down, into a dumpster, full body cast, and he sends her a rose.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I like the animated series, because it does show the whole, Harley's sitting there and she's, I can't believe that I ended up with this no good, scum sucking, lower than dirt. She sees the rose and goes, Angel. And you can see that she knows. But she can't break the cycle yet.
I think I saw an animated clip where Harley Quinn's like, and whomever she's with, I'm assuming this is a Suicide Squad gang. They're going through her mind.
That is the new Harley Quinn series. I love that series. One of the lines is her mom goes, I just wanted you to marry a doctor. And she goes, what are you talking about? I am a doctor.
Right.
And it's that same level of bringing this back to our topic. It is the same level of dismissal that really we get. And part of it is a generational thing. Once, the boomers and the older Gen X kind of die off. I hate to put it that way, but I have no other way to put it.
Yeah, really, where's the...
There is a lot of the sexism that's gonna, same thing with the racism and the sexism and the gender, well, not all of the gender roles, but a lot of the gender roles are gonna die with them.
Yeah, I mean, all this stuff goes hand in hand, really. I mean, one other thing that I noticed watching all these videos is how much racism there is in the cosplay community. Like, a black girl doing cosplay? What? Like, really, dude?
If you want to get on that topic, I got a couple black cosplayers you would absolutely adore.
Please.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I was, like, some of these stories, I was just disgusted. Like, I mean, half of you are white people cosplaying Asian characters. What the fuck? Like, how can you like that?
My whole thing is like, look, as long as you're not doing something that's racially insensitive, fucking do whatever. Don't care.
Right.
My whole thing is, I don't want to do black characters because for me it's an accuracy thing. I want to be accurate.
Right.
So I'm never going to do Storm. But let's, for the sake of the example, say I wanted to. That's fine. Be a white Storm. Show your love for the character. Just like a black girl, be a black Harley Quinn. Be a black Poison Ivy. Be a black Widow. Do what you love And leave people alone.
Mhm.
It's really what this comes down to. Leave them alone. Leave people alone.
Yeah, I mean, the one, I forget what character she was dressed as, but I mean, her costume was on point.
Can you describe it to me?
Uh,
Well, okay, first, was it anime? Because if it's anime, I'm not going to know it.
it was anime. I don't, it was with the kitten ears and all that stuff. I don't know exactly. Like, after a while, they kind of blend together for me.
That's fair. And the cat ears are sometimes just a fun thing.
Right.
But
and her,
yeah, there's not a lot of black anime characters as it is.
And that's sad. I think we need more black anime characters in the world.
yeah, that's true. But I mean, her costume was fucking gorgeous. And she said that she made it herself. And I'm like, damn, dude, like, that takes time.
Oh yeah, it takes time. It takes commitment. Like these girls are white and black alike. No matter what your race, there's commitment.
Yeah, and I mean, it was, it was just really sad to hear some of the stories of people coming up and, why are you dressed like that and that, whatever. Like, really, dude?
On that note, one of my black cosplay friends had told me, I don't remember what convention she was at, but she's a bigger girl, so she was dressed as Roadhog from the video game Overwatch. The voice actor from Roadhog from Overwatch came up to her and said, "Hey, I love your Roadhog costume." And she almost cried because of the simple thing that he did not say Black Roadhog. He just said Roadhog.
Well, I mean, that's how it should be.
It's sad that, that's something that makes someone's day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think that racism and sexism and misogyny and like microaggressions and all this stuff, like people do this shit and they don't even get that they're doing it. Like there's no self.
And that's where we really need to jump in. And honestly, people keep saying women can change the world. Yeah, we can, because we are the ones that generally raise the kids, which means we decide how they are socially programmed.
Mm-hmm.
So as women, we need to stop kind of bending to what we were taught and teach to make a better future.
Yep. Well, as a culture as a whole, really, too. Like, I don't know. I mean, that's part of the reason we're doing this. Well, as you know this, but just for people listening, that's part of the reason we're doing this podcast is because we want people to start talking about these things and opening up a dialogue and getting people thinking about things. And, like if you're walking past a woman and you're kind of in a tight spot, don't just grab her by the waist as you're walking by. Would you do that to a guy? No, you wouldn't. To a woman. I mean, it's simple things like that it just gets on your nerves.
There was something I saw, and I don't remember. It was like Grown Up Wednesday Addams. I don't know if this is a fan film or if this is canon and I just haven't seen what this is from.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, no, this guy keeps telling her to smile. Smile. You look better, smile.
Oh,
She
yeah.
ignores him, and he says, "Fucking goth bitch." So she shows up at his door the next day with 3 big-ass biker, like, tattooed to shit motherfuckers. Like, well, we're going to call the police on you. They can't be here. Oh, they're not going to enter your house. They're not even going to sit on your property. Baba here is really good at pointing out the contours of the body. Ace here can tell you what would make you look more appealing. And I don't remember what the third one was, but basically she hired guys to deal the same kind of comments to these men that they scream at women, and they didn't like it.
Well, of course not. It's like,
so if you wouldn't like it, why do it?
I had a guy friend who forgot when decadence was, and he was a pretty attractive guy, kind of a douche. He had a reputation of just being kind of sexist. And he had to go to work. He worked on Bourbon Street. And he lived over on the other side of the Marigny. So he had to walk through basically all of Bourbon Street, through Decadence. And like the next time I saw him, he was like, I'm so sorry if I ever touched you without your permission. And I was like, what?
Are we talking
He's like,
about me?
I had to.
Because I have done that a couple of times.
No, it wasn't you.
Okay.
This was a while I met you. This is before Katrina, actually. No, this guy, he was groped like from Esplanade on Bourbon all the way almost to Canal.
To the entire 13
Almost the
blocks.
whole way. Yes. And he was like, I did not understand. Yeah, he was like, I didn't understand before, but now I get it. And I was like, remember that. Okay? That feeling of kind of fear and you don't know what's going on and you don't really like it.
To
Yeah.
make it more helpful for men to picture, walking down 13 blocks of road, having normally big, burly men who are probably intimidating even to you, constantly touch your butt, your arms, your crotch, and there's hundreds of them everywhere.
And if you think we're exaggerating, we're not. I can't speak for that specific situation because I don't live in the same city that they do. However, that's the reality as a woman wherever you go.
Yeah, I love Decadence because I can walk down Bourbon and not one man will touch me. And they'll be like, girl, that dress. I love gay men. I love the queer community. I am queer. And going like,
I don't
You'll
see
see,
there's a straight
you know.
person on this video chat.
It's true. It's true.
no, there isn't. And, during the day, during Decadence, you'll see old lesbian couples out, gay couples, like, whatever. And it's just refreshing. Because the only people that will mess with you, like as a woman, are tourist guys. And if they do that, then gay guys will see them and be like, oh, so you think you can touch a woman without her consent? Well, then we're going to touch you without your consent. I mean,
I kind of want to get on your show now. Someone I kind of want to see if wants to be on your show now is someone I have connected Marcus with. His name is Richard Lael Lillard.
Oh, yes.
Magician, esoteric.
No, the gentleman
He's
psychic. He's a very powerful psychic and a medium. But he is a part of the gay community.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to be a Freddie Mercury impersonator.
I can see that.
No.
So he's been in his share of the shit.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Do y'all want to cut the video here? Because I've got like over an hour's worth of content to edit
Yeah,
at this
sure.
point.
Whatever you guys.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of devolved into us geeking out about films.
Well, the great part is I can use most of this.
To wrap that up, if women see more characters that have these strong qualities, maybe we're going to see the change come about a lot faster, because when women have those characters to look up to, it's almost like we're being told, hey, it's okay. Like, it's okay that you stand up for yourself, which is sad, but it's the reality. We're told that it's okay and you're not being unreasonable. He is in the wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Or she, depending on your sexual orientation and your situation. Or they, or we're inclusive here. Everyone can be assholes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
But, my point is really, when people don't have someone to look up to, they just want to make the right choice, but they're told that the right choice is usually the quiet choice.
And then you have, fight, flight, panic, or freeze.
Most people will freeze. I know I did the first few times that I was groped or or anything like that. Like Shelly, you know, I've had some nasty shit done to me, both in person and online.
Mhm.
And initially, yeah, you freeze up. You don't know what to do. So you stay quiet.
Right,
And you
right.
know what? That's okay. As long as you learn from that and you learn that it's okay to, you know, do what I do. Stand up and start screaming at the top of your lungs and call this person out. Because if they don't have your consent, they are out of line.
Yep. I'd also like to add to that that there were a lot of videos made by men calling out creepy guys.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Oh yeah.
there needs to be more of that.
Absolutely.
That
I
really,
applaud the male members of our community who have noticed that there is a problem, and they don't just like share articles and stuff. They actively go out of their way to try to make a difference, because they understand that, well, yeah, men will listen to women, men will listen to other men.
yeah, I mean, there were a bunch of videos men made basically calling out creepy guys. And I'm like, the more that happens, the less creepy guys are going to want to do that and be called out by other men, because it's public humiliation, really. And they need that to get their shit straight in their head, really.
Also, men need to stop thinking that you're being a bitch is an insult. We wear that with pride.
Yeah.
I generally say thank you these days because it throws them off.
Yeah, like I stopped saying for shit.
I think it was Trevor Noah. There was a bit he did if, you know, he said, you know, if a guy's ever, you know, moving up on you, kind of coming up on you, it's okay, don't panic. He says, you're being a bitch or you're such a bitch. He's like, just stay calm. Just bring out the Russian. You want to see bitch? And then beat the shit out of him.
There's Ukrainian and Cherokee going on. I'll handle up on that right quick.
So if you see it, call it out.
You see it, call it out, and if it happens to you, you don't have to take that.
Nope.
If there's a creepy guy moving up on you and you don't feel safe trying to take him, run up to literally any other woman. This is the only time it's okay to do something without consent. Run up to any other woman, hug her, and whisper in her ear, there's someone following me. And I guarantee you, she will help you out.
Mm-hmm.
There are two things women have solidarity on no matter how much we hate each other. Being followed and periods. I don't care how much you hate that bitch, you're going to give her a tampon if she asks.
On that note, just remember, folks, kids out there, remember, men, listen. Cosplay is not consent. Hey, say it with me. Cosplay is not consent. Keep your hand.
Cosplay is not consent.
Cosplay is not consent.
Don't touch. Don't touch. Keep your hands to yourself. Damn. Oh my God.
I don't care if she's basically got her tits out with pasties on. They are not your tits.
Yeah.
Oh, one of my favorite things is watching men try to grope a woman and then realizing she's a drag queen. Because suddenly she's a threat. And it makes me very happy.
Man.
I've been watching, listening to Netflix is a Joke Radio on Sirius XM recently, and there is a drag queen, Tracy, I think her name was, or something like that. And she occasionally goes through the airports in drag, and so she has to tuck. And whenever she has to go through like the little X-ray machine, only it's a black woman, according to this person, operating the machine, and then she calls over the little Asian woman, like, "Girl, come look at this." And so the little Asian woman comes up like, "Excuse me, sir, ma'am, sir, ma'am, sir, ma'am, sir. Get your pronouns straight."
I appreciate that they're trying, though.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
They're making the effort. That's good.
But the big point of the joke was, we have to pat you down. Do you want a man or a woman to do it?
See? Consent.
She responds, well, technically, I'm still a man, so legally, you can't touch me. And points to again, their own words, probably the most attractive looking black man who's just standing over the corner snickering to himself, points at him and says, grab that N-word. This is also a black drag.
Yeah. Grab him.
Yes. And the best part of the joke was at the end of it, she said, he at my house right now watching my kids quit his job.
No, but
get it.
If you want, they're not biologically women, but if you want, I'm still counting them. If you want a strong female sense of confidence, watch the drag queens.
Oh, yeah.
Watch the drag.
I can't wait until we have, I don't know, I hope that we have a culture where, you know, I mean, we're transgendered people, queer people in general, what have you, women are not like the blunt end of a joke.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, someday, I hope. That'd be cool.
I don't know if it'll be within even my lifetime, but I think we will get there.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping we get some drag queens on here, talk about things, burlesque dancers.
I can help you with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Marcus,
Yeah.
I'm going to send you another Instagram profile.
Okay. Do everything you need to do. I love the social networking bit. That is my job.
Oh, sweetheart. I've got so many people. As you know, I've had the guy that voices The Witcher on. I've had the guy that voiced. I had a Doctor Who actress on. She was so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I am probably being very annoying, but I don't care. I'm attempting to get Kevin Smith by tweeting him every day.
Okay.
And his daughter. Because he named his daughter Harlequin Smith.
Oh.
Nice.
So I am going to bank on every little thing I got.
See, I would love to get Captain Jack Harkness on here.
Barrowman, tweet Barrowman a shit ton. Honestly, if you meet him at a con, just ask him. That's how my friend, actually, wonder if Christian's had. My friend Christian has a pretty popular Doctor Who podcast.
If I were to meet him, I wouldn't be able to speak, I don't think. I'd probably be laying on the floor going,
I've met him twice and he groped my justicles. So. Anyway, guys, I'm Harlequin. Thanks for tuning in to Words Have Power Murder Hour. I'm going to pass this off to our hosts.
All right, thank you very much, Harlequin, for joining us today. It has been such a delight to have you on the show with us.
thank you for being here. As always, it's kind of hard to have a focused conversation with you, but it's always great.
I have that effect on people.
Well, thank you, everybody, for watching.
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, I'm going to stop recording now.